champions of the past, we have world champions of the present. Marissa Shields in the building. Marissa.
Jake Paul, it's clear to me you are desperate for a reality check. You know what? If I made my money impressing 4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out of you.
Andrew Tate just destroyed Jake Paul, the self-proclaimed boxing prodigy, for rejecting his fight offer. For a guy who prides himself on taking on anyone, anytime, Jake seems to have developed a sudden and suspicious case of stage fright when it comes to Andrew Tate. And Tate? He's not holding back. According to Tate, the problem child seems to have turned into the avoidance expert. And let's be honest, it's not like Jake's calendar is packed with real challenges. After all, cherry-picking his opponents has been his signature move.
Clown on the fucking internet. If you want to fight and you want to send a contract, send one to me. I will take a few weeks break from living my retired life to kick the living fuck out of a fucking goofy, fucking entitled dickhead like you. You know my name, Andrew Tate.
Of course, this isn't the first time Jake's bravado has clashed with reality. Remember his open challenge to Conor McGregor? That went nowhere. And his beef with Sean Strickland? Another hollow flex. Tate made it clear, Jake thrives on headlines, not hard fights.
Me versus Andrew Tate.
Wow.
But here we are, so we could talk about that side note announcement. And please go watch the episode.
Hold on a second. What you mean you versus Andrew Tate? Because
no, I'm not saying a fight. I'm saying like our back and forth. He talks shit about me and like says he wants to beat my ass or can beat my ass and all this stuff.
I think there's a better fight to make.
I am so excited about this fight.
Andrew Tate has been training with the magician.
Andrew Tate has long been critical of this approach, and rejecting a fight with him only gave Tate more ammunition. Tate mocked Jake's excuses from the terms weren't right to vague claims about career strategy. Tate, never one to mince words, labeled these excuses as nothing more than fear wrapped in PR jargon. According to Tate, Jake's entire career is built on avoiding real competition. And it's hard to argue with him when you look at the facts.
If my brother doesn't fuck you up, I will. And it has to go down. But I don't think he gets in the ring with one of us.
Jake's reluctance becomes even more glaring when you consider his upcoming fight with Mike Tyson. Yes, Tyson is a legend, a name that will undoubtedly sell pay-per-view subscriptions by the millions. But Tyson is also 57 years old. For all his greatness, his prime is decades behind him, and any matchup with Jake will feel more like an exhibition than a true contest. Tate didn't hold back on this point either. He questioned how Jake could claim to be a disruptor in boxing while choosing to fight someone who's closer to collecting Social Security than competing at an elite level.
This is the hardest sport in the world, and people dedicate their lives to this, and most of them never get a payday. It never pays off for the majority of fighters, all of which would fuck you up. I'm one of the lucky ones. I made a little bit of money. I don't have 50 million to bet with you, but I do have 3 million to bet with you. So this is your offer. $3 million. You put three.
It's not just the Tyson fight that has people talking, it's the pattern. Jake has a history of challenging high-profile names without following through. Conor McGregor? Nothing came of it. Sean Strickland? Another flashy call-out that went nowhere. Jake's tactics are clear. Talk big, generate buzz, but never actually step into the ring with someone who poses a real threat. Andrew Tate has called Jake out repeatedly. And unlike some of Jake's other potential opponents, Tate is both willing and qualified to fight. He's a seasoned professional, someone who has faced and defeated world-class competition. A fight between Tate and Jake wouldn't just be a spectacle, it would be a true test of Jake's abilities. But instead of seizing the opportunity, Jake has chosen to stick to the safety of hand-picked opponents.
I will fight you any day of the fucking week.
This isn't just about Andrew Tate's frustration with Jake. It's about what Jake's actions mean for his legacy. Jake loves to portray himself as a disruptor, someone who's changing the game. But actions speak louder than words, and rejecting fights with legitimate contenders like Tate undermines that narrative. Instead of revolutionizing boxing, Jake seems more interested in turning it into a reality TV show where he controls the script. And the fans are catching on. Social media has been ablaze with criticism of Jake's decision to duck Tate. The public is starting to see through the carefully crafted image, realizing that Jake's rise in boxing has been less about skill and more about spectacle. Andrew Tate, on the other hand, has only gained respect for his willingness to call out the hypocrisy and challenge Jake directly.
Jake Paul, it's clear to me you are desperate for a reality check. You know what? If I made my money impressing 4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out of you. This is the hardest sport in the world, and people dedicate their lives to this, and most of them never get a payday. It never pays off for the majority of fighters, all of which would fuck you
up. This whole saga highlights a deeper issue in the world of boxing. The sport has always been a mix of skill and showmanship, but Jake's approach leans heavily toward the latter. By prioritizing marketable matchups over meaningful competition, he's contributing to the erosion of boxing's integrity. Andrew Tate's criticism isn't just about his personal grudge with Jake, it's about defending the sport itself. What makes this situation even more frustrating is that a fight between Jake and Tate would have been a blockbuster event. The build-up alone would have been worth watching, with both men known for their charisma and ability to hype a fight. More importantly, it would have been an opportunity for Jake to prove himself against a real fighter. Instead, Jake's rejection sends a clear message. He's not ready for that level of competition. Andrew Tate isn't letting this go quietly, and why should he? Jake's decision to reject the fight isn't just a missed opportunity for both men. It's a clear indication of where Jake's priorities lie. For all his talk about wanting to be taken seriously as a boxer, his actions suggest otherwise. And let's not forget, this isn't the first time Jake's bravado has collided with reality. His career is filled with moments where his words have outpaced his actions. Whether it's challenging McGregor or teasing a fight with Tyson, Jake has a knack for generating buzz without delivering on the promise.